The Honorable Dr. Conrad Worrell, who is a young ancestor, worked very hard. We're building on that spirit and that work. We call for the memory of Dr. Shashi McIntyre, another reparations warrior, Dr. Imari Obadeli, who helped start in Cobra. Just too numerous to name. The ancestors have always been with us. We have a righteous cause, and so we're standing on their shoulders and moving forward. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe-O.
On Tuesday of this week, it was announced that the Jesuit Conference of Canada and the U.S. and Order of the Roman Catholic Church pledged $100 million to begin a process of truth and reconciliation. Although this may be a good start, we have some challenges with it. One, it does not meet the minimum requirement of reparations. That is, that the injured party must determine the repair. It is reported that the GU 272 Descendants Association was not included in the Jesuits' determination. Two, a second requirement for reparations, the injured must direct the repair. The Descendants Truth and Reconciliation Foundation is set to be administered by a collection of the offending institutions and not by the injured parties, the descendants of the Georgetown 272. Three, the bulk of the resources are targeted toward truth and reconciliation. Truth and reconciliation has its unstated purpose, that of seeking forgiveness of the injuring parties, making this effort more beneficial to the criminals or to the injuring parties than the descendants of whom the address is supposed to be directed. Ultimately, as South Africa and other places have taught, you can't have reconciliation before repair. In addition, the groups who will receive the anti-racism resources in this $100 million pledge may or may not be from the injured community. Number four, the pledge is simply not enough. The history of the injuries and the continued legacies requires a significant amount more to correct, and it must be targeted toward addressing the injuries, not anti-racism as the Jesuits pledge has been directed. Second, our efforts here are to enlist the Archdiocese of Chicago, and particularly the Cardinal Blaise Cupich, Archbishop of Chicago, in our efforts to bring together those corporations and institutions operating here in Chicago that also took part in the crimes against humanity of our community. With the Jesuits' recent action, the time is now. We must seize this opportunity. The business community in America has initiated steps to infuse resources into our community to address institutional racism. Businesses like Nike, PepsiCo, Procter & Gamble, Delta Airlines, American Airlines, General Motors, Ford, Walmart, Starbucks, Ben & Jerry's, Amazon, Netflix, IBM, Apple, and YouTube have and are making efforts. The Conrad Worrell Commission has determined the first initiative to be one where we assemble resources to direct toward repair by taking advantage of the social justice climate of corporate America. In doing so, we are working with the Chicago Subcommittee on Reparations to enforce the city's slavery disclosure ordinance that calls on corporations and institutions in Chicago to disclose their ties to the evil practices of enslavement. With the Catholic Church's major role in the horrid history of enslavement in connection to those crimes and their current willingness to acknowledge and redress them, it is only right that we begin this process here in Chicago, that we seek the church's aid in bringing the business entities in Chicago together. We have begun this process to meet the Cardinal for that reason, and we are assembled here for that reason.
Let us remember that the Catholic Church blessed all the slave ships on the transatlantic slave trade. We understand the Catholic Church to be a nation and not just a church. Rome is a nation, and a nation that owes the Africans for their part of slavery. Wilfred Gregory, the new cardinal, the only African-American cardinal in America, I say to him, join us on this to straighten out the problems of the Catholic Church. And a Luther Continua, The struggle will continue. Reparations is just not just a national term, it's an international struggle. And because we understand what colonialism, 275 years before there was the United States, there was colonialism, and that Rome is part of the colonial history of America.
The church has gained tremendous wealth from our bodies, our ancestors' bodies, and it's only fair that the church should give reparations as well as facilitate our actions with others to facilitate reparations for our community. So I encourage the church and the bishop to get on board and see how we can work this out.
And we are pleased to join with NCOBRA Chicago and its initiatives, such as the Conrad Worrell Reparations Commission, as well as NCOBRA's initiative at the City Council, Cook County, State of Illinois, and federal government initiatives on behalf of reparations. We're pleased to stand with NCOBRA Chicago's, and this said that we join with NCOBRA in saying not enough. We say no, it's not enough. It's not enough for the Jesuit organization in North America and Canada to stand up and say that they will raise $100 million to underwrite their Truth and Reconciliation project. And we say to the Catholic community of America, of which the Jesuits are an important part, that no is not enough. And we hope that we'll be able to dialogue on the impact of the Holocaust and slavery to African people in the Chicago area and in the United States in general. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Lakeisha Latham. I'm president of A Few Great Women, and I stand here today in front of the Archdiocese in a collaborative effort for true reparations and guidance. We just want to make a plea for the Archdiocese to hear what we have to say and that they adhere to the true guidelines for our injured parties, and not just to give the introductory offering of what they feel is great for reparations. So we just want to say to them to meet with us, stand with us, and allow for us to collectively come up with the strategy and the plan for true reparations for our African descendants. Thank you.
So we're going to end by stating our 6 official acts of the Roman Catholic Church, and specifically the Archdiocese here in Chicago. 1, we're seeking an official apology for the actions by the church that has led to the continued devastation of African life and limitation of their life chances in Chicago, America, and globally. 2, full recognition of the role it has played in shaping a global racial consciousness that discriminates against, marginalized, and oppresses African and people of African descent. 3, immediate and full use of its global resources to assist reparatory justice organs in reversing the anti-African global racial consciousness and its vestiges. 4, immediate and full use of its geopolitical influence in calling on America and all Western countries to move swiftly and without reserve in acknowledging, observing, and fulfilling the mission of the United Nations International Decade of People of African Descent and the passage of H.R. 40 and S-40, specifically in America. 5, in Chicago, contribute resources to the Conrad Worrell Reparations Commission to assist us in developing reparative initiatives in Chicago in alignment with the international norm of full repair. And finally, also here in Chicago, assist the Conrad Worrell Reparations Commission in bringing together corporate institutions and foundational interests that have also played a part in the plunder, terror, and continued vestiges of enslavement and Jim Crow apartheid and ongoing racial discrimination that affects our community on a daily, hourly, and minutely basis.
That's right.
That's right. 100 million is not enough. 100 million is not enough. 100 million is not enough. 100 million is not enough.